Welcome to Revive Hi-Fi Canada again for our latest episode on the Polk RTiA1 speaker feature. This is a very excellent, very fun time, a very excellent speaker. So I'm very excited to present about this speaker and to discuss this speaker. The Polk RTiA4. These are bookshelf speakers. They have, just to go into their build quality, a very impressive build quality. They have real wood veneer. So for a speaker at this price point to have real wood veneer, that's something else. I would say these Polks are nicely built. I've also featured the Polk RTiA3 on the station as well, and that particular speaker also looked very similar, but we had that in cherry. They both look excellent, I would say. The Polk speaker has some unique design features on it. I'll go into the port. You can see on the front it has a front port for bass, but it also a front bass port. But on the view of the back, you'll see that it also has a back firing port as well. And this is kind of a unique to what I've seen, at least with the Polk speakers. It's called a power port that improves bass response without distortion. It's a pretty nice speaker. It's about 12 inches tall. It's pretty deep. It's 11 inches deep and about 7.5 inches wide. It's video shielded. It is got a 1-inch dynamic balance silk polymer tweeter. So silk tweeters I like. So the one of the other speakers I had with the silk tweeter was the Athena ASB1 and ASF1, the floor stander. Those have very nice tweeters as well. They're silk. Silk gives you this kind of nice finely tuned sound, but it doesn't feel shrill, and that's pretty much where the Athenas were. These I'll talk more about later. These have a 5.25-inch dynamic balance polymer composite woofer. They also have an 8 ohm impedance. They have a very high sensitivity, 89 dB. So they're not going to be a hard drive for your amplifier. So these are pretty nice actually in that regard. Let's get into the sound. So I would say the highs, let's start with the highs. The highs are I mean, first of all, let me just start by saying these speakers sound extremely clear. And where I liked these applied the best, at least in my situation, in my rooms, I liked them in being used as TV speakers instead of my sound bar. That was where they shined for me, and the clarity of dialogue and clarity of just everything that's going on, I could hear everything on the TV. So that was where I enjoyed them the most. On my desktop, when I'm sitting close at near field, that is where I would say that I didn't enjoy them as much. I did at first, but when I had them with a T or a D amp, they sort of sounded a little bit shrill after a while. They're not huge, and that surprised me with the Silk Dome, but still I would say that they had a tiny bit of shrillness after long periods of listening at my computer. They do go up to 26,000 hertz, which is quite high for the highs. I mean, we only can hear up to 20,000 hertz. They can handle about 20 to 125 watts. That's about right. And they were very easy to drive, as I said earlier. They are biampable, as you can see on the left side. It has 2 sets of binding posts. We'll get to the mid-range. The mid-range, the voices, like I said earlier, voices mid-range, excellent. Just that's all I can say. Clarity is just outstanding, I would say, on these. The lows, this is where, so they're rated down to 60 hertz, and I've reviewed several different, and I've had many different speakers, and a rating down to 60 hertz for a speaker of this size, I was a little bit surprised by how like, these are pretty big. Like, they go pretty deep. And they're going about what? They're going about 11 inches deep, and they're about 12 inches, 12 and a half inches tall. So 12 to 12 and a half inches tall. So they're not exactly a shallow speaker, yet they're rated down to 60 hertz. So I was a bit surprised about that, where its -3 dB point was 60 hertz. But when I play it in real life, when I run different test tones through these speakers, I was getting really meaningful bass around 50s to 60s. So it's not totally off, but to be honest, I would think that this would have a bit more bass on the speaker for the size. It's a 5 1/4 inch, but I never feel like it misses anything. So to me, it reminds me of the amount of bass that I have in the Wharfedale Diamond 12.1. So it's not a ton of bass, but what bass is there is very good and tight, high quality bass, nothing booming. So that's where they come from, and that's why they sound so clear. So nothing overwhelms anything else on the frequency of any of the frequencies. So the mids, the highs, and the lows, none of it. The only part is, I would say, is that the highs could become a little bit more pronounced over time when you're listening. At first you're very impressed with the clarity, but then over time you may or may not be as impressed. Soundstage, they do cast a wide soundstage. I would say it's not as high vertically as I would like, but it's not as high. I would say it's just, they're good. I mean, I would say there's nothing super to write home about, but they sound big. They sound about the size that they are, and they're not small, right? They're about 12 inches tall, and they're about 11 and a half inches deep, so they sound like their size. So they're not casting, and you would expect that from this size of speaker, is what I'll say. And the imaging is where I find it quite interesting, because that's where I hear everything, right? But it's like a wall of sound. So I don't really get, a lot of the small nuances of the sound as well as I do in some of the texture and the nuances of the sound as I do with some of the other speakers that I own. That's not to say it's bad by any means. It's to say that if I were using these, I would actually prefer them more, in my opinion at least, as speakers to use on your TV or theater than maybe speakers that you use for a stereo pair for music. They're great at music. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just that they do really well when it comes to sounds on your TV, on your theater. That's where they shine. They sound fantastic, and it's not that they're bad at music. It's just that they're really good at the theater. So that's where I'd come from on these. So that pretty much is what I have to say about these. They're very well built. They do have. I'll play the obligatory knock test on these, I think, unless I already did that. I'm not sure. I'll just play it again anyway, just in case. But so you can hear even on there that they're a little bit more hollow, but they're also very large cabinets, right? I mean, 12 inches tall, 12 inches deep, 11 and a half inches deep. They're not small. So they're bigger than I would usually expect for a 12-inch tall speaker. They put out big sound, and they're excellent for the price. The build quality is very good. I mean, that real wood veneer looks very sharp, and yeah, everything is pretty good. The only criticism I'd have is a little bit about the highs in the very highest regions, where after a while you may or may not prefer some of the highs, but other than that, none of the other frequencies overwhelm the others. So it's a very nice, even sounding speaker, and their clarity is quite something. So thank you very much for listening. We're going to play a little bit of a sample Of course, in a real life situation here in my living room, as I always say. And of course, just to get your interest, and maybe you're not really based, the sound sample's not really made to help you with a decision per se, but just to give you an idea of how they might sound in a real life situation. So thank you very much for watching and for hearing and listening to what I have to say here. I hope you enjoy some of the content that's on this channel. We're just here having a lot of fun trying different types of audio equipment, especially different types of speakers recently. So please watch. Please subscribe if you enjoy this, and see you next time. Enjoy your watching. Thanks. Bye.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. Maybe someday you'll have it your way. Maybe someday it'll all work out. Until then, nope, a nope, a nope, a nope, definitely nope, a nope, nope, a nope. Probably never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. Oh no. Bye.